Now, as you delve into the world of C++, you're going to come across a term and a concept called a destructor. And in this video, I want to introduce you to the concept. Then I want to show you the reasons you would need one and give you a little memory lesson on the underlying reasons of why all this is an issue. Okay? And then I'm going to encourage you to go do some more research on your own, okay? But the simple answer to what is a destructor simply reclaims memory for us. Now, it reclaims a certain type of memory, which is called dynamic memory. And another way to say that is it reclaims memory that has been placed on the heap. Talk more about that in just a second. The way to understand this is just with a simple memory lesson, okay? If in my program I create an integer called I, a variable called I, it's a data type integer, and I initialize it with a value of 4. Well, C++ is going to place this variable I and this value 4 on one of its two places where it manages memory. One of these is called the stack and one is called the heap. Now, the stack is a bit of memory that is set aside for use by the programs. All right, it has a finite amount, and if you run out of it, you're in trouble. Okay, you get a memory error and you've got to do something different. If you put it on the heap, however, the heap is all the memory that's available to your computer. Now, this is your RAM, your available RAM, any virtual memory that your computer creates with paging out to the hard drive and all that. And so this can be gigabytes and gigabytes of memory. Okay. But everything comes at a cost in this life, and so let's talk about what happens. So when we create this integer called I and we set it equal to 4, C++ goes out and creates it on the stack. Everybody's happy. Then when we go out of the function that used the integer I and created it, it does something that we call going out of scope, and this just gets erased off of the stack, and that memory is now available for something else. All of it happens automatically. We don't have to worry about it. Okay, life is good. However, if we create any object and we use the new keyword here, notice here we've created a pointer of type integer, and then we have set that pointer equal to a new instance of integer. All right, what we just done is we created the pointer, and then with the new keyword we placed that pointer out on the heap. Now, if we run our program and we go out of scope for the section of code or the function where all this was done right here, keep in mind this new keyword told C++, put this out on the heap. I want this out on the heap and put a reference to it out there, and I'm going to manage it there. Well, this will never go out of scope. It may go out of scope and I can't get back to it, but guess what? It will never drop off the heap until I terminate the program. Okay? And so this is what's called a memory leak. Because as I use the program longer and longer and longer, I notice that more and more of my memory is getting consumed. And the reason is there's all these objects out there on the heap that I never called the destructor on, and so C++ never went to the heap and took these back off. And so I'm noticing that as more and more objects get created and placed on the heap, and then more and more objects get created and placed on the heap, and they're never deleted, I have less and less available memory on my computer. Now again, this is not the big, huge, hairy deal that it used to be, because now we have gigabytes and gigabytes of RAM available on our computer, but still it can become very problematic. So what's the answer here is that I need to delete this pointer. And I need to just call the command delete pointer, delete PTR, in my code to make that happen. All right? Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to just understand what a destructor is, and I want you to understand why you need one. And you really should have a red flag go off in your little programmer brain when you use the new keyword, because you should be telling yourself, hey, wait a minute now, I am placing this little bit of information out on the heap, and when I'm done with it, I need to destruct it. Okay, I need to call a destructor and get that off the heap, or I'm going to basically consuming memory that I can't really use or get to anymore. Okay, so that's what a destructor is. The memory lesson tells you why you need it. Now, what I would strongly suggest that you do And I'm not going to do an example here because of a time constraint, and I also don't want to wander into a world that just keeps getting deeper and deeper here. I want to kind of keep this on this introductory level. But the main thing you need to understand here is what a destructor is, why you need it, and then just go out there and kind of dig around, look at some examples of destructors, and based on where you are along the timeline of comfort level with C++, you can go a little deeper and look at some more advanced examples of this. But the bottom line is, if you're using that new keyword to bring your objects into existence, you're placing them on the heap, and when you're through with those objects, you need to call delete to take those objects off the heap and clear their memory out and make it available for something else.